Hello, this is Y8b promoting in writing and in person. So we've just finished emails and now we go on to business reports and papers. Meetings inevitably involve paperwork and sometimes you might be the author. For example, you might be writing a report or update on a particular project, a bid for funding or a proposal to change something. Your readers will form opinions about you based on what they read. Although the topic might be unrelated to your personal brand, there are ways in which to get those consistent messages about the aspects of your brand across. Consider what you want the reader to think about you. For example, he really knows what he's talking about. Some serious research has gone into this document. She seems to have consulted widely. He cares about the people this will impact on. She isn't afraid of change. He has some creative ideas and her team are clearly behind her. What I would say between emails and business reports and papers, the first one can be much more informal and attempt to build rapport. With business reports and papers, stick to the facts, be very clear. In your opening email, when you're attaching the document, you can write your ways to build rapport in there. With the business reports and papers, because you don't know who's going to see them, you may never have met them before, they might land on somebody's desk. So stick straight to the facts and try not to deviate from those. Business cards. Some people predicted that social media would kill off business cards. It hasn't happened yet, and I don't think it's going to happen. For many, it remain a useful tool because it stops you from getting lost. It stops you from losing, I'll start again. It stops you from getting lost in someone's phone contact list. It serves as a useful reminder of your brand when someone comes across it in their wallet, bag, desk, drawer, etc. It means that you don't have to waste time spelling out your email address or typing it in their phone. Just exchange cards and do that later. That is by far the greatest benefit. Plus, as well, it may have you and your personal brand on it, whatever image you've decided on, which would count as another impact. As it mentioned above, every time somebody looks at it, it's counted as an impact. Many of us are restricted by our business card design of the organisation we work for. But if you were able to design your own business card, which you are, and it's easy, how would you convey your personal brand? Think back to one of the previous activities when we thought about the colour your brand would be and the different colours of brands. This could be time to use that colour. If you can encapsulate your personal brand in a statement, that would be included. That should also be included. So here's some examples from a business called Brand Yourself, who describe the following examples as your catchphrase. It's also known as a tagline about your specific experience. I help people create opportunities in their business and careers. I am a personal trainer specializing in weight and mobility. I give authors visibility on untapped promotional platforms where they can share their work. I spark new ideas for large companies that have stagnant product cycles. Although the author doesn't include job role or title, you can see from these examples the personal trainer did how you focus on what you can do for others might strengthen your offering. So task number 2, my personal brand statement. Write this in your book. Only give yourself about 10 minutes. You can work on it later. It's about downloading ideas at this stage. Try to encapsulate, easy for you to say, your personal brand in a sentence suitable for business cards and write them in your book. Making a good impression. So now we're switching from writing to in person. There are many contexts in which face-to-face interaction with people will allow you to promote your personal brand. The key thing to remember is that first impressions count, and they are formed even before we start to speak. While you may not think that how we look is important as the things we say or do, it plays an enormous part in how our words and behaviours are received by others. Getting your image right can make it easier to put your personal brand across quickly and effectively. You must smile, make eye contact, and have an open and positive posture to create a positive impression to people you are talking to. These elements are known as non-verbal communication. To go into a little more detail about those, Heathfield describes a number of different workplace cues that can help you connect non-verbally with your chosen audience. They include facial expression, e.g., emotions such as happiness or boredom are easily conveyed facially. Body language. Folding arms might suggest you feel insecure or defensive. Posture. A slouched posture conveys a lack of interest in the conversation, whereas sitting rigidly on the edge of your chair might seem to indicate nerves or anxiety. Eye contact. Appropriate eye contact suggests a confident communicator, whilst staring fixedly at somebody might be thought to be a bit aggressive and confrontational. And on eye contact, if you are addressing more than one in a group, you need to make sure that within reason you are giving a balanced time to everybody in that group. Gestures can convey enthusiasm or passion for your topic, but they can become distracting if overused. And touch. Strong handshakes, make sure you use hand gel, appropriate PPE, is perceived much more positive than an limp one. I would also say, I'd add, just watch your tics. So the little stranger habits that you have, we all have, we do with our friends and the little jokes and things like that. Wait until you have met these people, they formed an impression of them, they formed an impression of you, and you have built rapport before you start sharing those tics, even if they are funny. It is really important. So, task number 3, give yourself about 10 minutes for this. Think of someone don't choose me. Think of somebody you formed a negative impression of and turned out to be wrong. Well, you can't use me then, can you? When you got to know them better, answer this following question. What did you base that first impression on? Clothes, body language, eye contact, etc. What made you change your impression later? And what can you learn from the experience in order to avoid it happening to you again? Here's an example I found that I'll share with you. We don't know them. When Sarah started a new job, she was introduced to Malcolm. Sounds like a Mills and Boon, doesn't it? The person she would be sharing an office with. When she first met him, he was more smartly dressed than her, and he didn't smile or say much. He said hello, but didn't get up from his desk to shake her hand. She immediately assumed he didn't like her and felt that he felt superior to her. She thought he was rude and patronising. After several months of working together, she discovered that Malcolm had a dry sense of humour and showed his respect for others by listening carefully to what they had to say. He was knowledgeable and kind, but shy and introspective. He didn't say very much, but he was excellent at his job, and she found that he really enjoyed working with him. On the day she arrived, it turned out he'd just received some bad news about funding of one of his projects. If you ask me, in my opinion, I think Malcolm was being authentic. Nobody likes bad news about funding.